In preparation for winter, the miniature squirrel will find a place to bury its miniatures. So, when it is needed in the middle of a cold winter, it will be able to retrieve the miniature for its feeding purposes.
It's a well-known fact that miniature squirrels often forget where they buried their miniatures for the winter season. And what happens is the miniatures over into the spring germinate and turn into a plant. In this case, I am lucky enough to have one that was forgotten by a buried miniature, and it turned into a miniature tree. In this case, Marines. Very, very fortunate. You can tell that this particular crop is ready for harvesting because they've already grown their coat of primer.
Hi everyone. If you're anything like me, you may be experiencing multiple seasons throughout the year. And if you're like 99% of the wargaming community, you also rely on our friend Rattlecan to do the priming for your miniatures. Then that also means winter is coming. Not in the Game of Thrones way. Just like it's cold. And cold temperatures, blustery winds, and spray paint don't mix for preparing models. Well, now is when we dig into our piles of shame, take a look at what we have primed and not started, or, maybe it's been on the shelf for a while. It's embarrassing. And see what we can do as far as getting ready for the winter season. Where I live, the temperatures are going to be so cold I won't be able to prime for 4.5 months. So what I need to do is prepare 4.5 months worth of models to get me through the winter. Now everybody paints at a different pace, but the point is to determine what your painting pace is. If you know that you can paint an entire squad in a week, then you're going to set that aside, say like that, and say that is 1 week's worth of models once it's primed. If it's going to be something that is a lot more detailed and it's going to take longer, like this Dreadnought that's semi-prepared, I know that will probably take me 2 weeks. So now I know I have 3 weeks worth of models set aside. Another really important thing that I'm making sure that I have is variety. There's nothing like being stuck at your painting table having done a ton of preparation only to be painting the same thing for months on end. I don't have a reason for that. It's not healthy for me to go ahead and just be staring at the same thing and do repetitive work. This is a hobby. It's fun. So I'm making sure to mix things up. Different color palettes, different items, some large models, some small models, and things that I need for my collection and for when I want to play, but also things that are going to help me get better as a painter. I have a couple of models that I'm setting aside just to do terrible things to as test pieces, but it's going to help me go ahead and grow. Lastly, one of the things that I'm going to do is over-prepare. A primed model doesn't go bad. It's not like there's an expiration date on these things. But I don't know exactly what the temperatures are going to end up being like. So, for whatever reason, I have a day off. I have a long weekend. We're snowed in and nothing is happening. I'm going to probably be pulling out models and painting, and that's going to be upsetting whatever kind of calculations I've done now. So I'm going to make sure that I have more than enough going into the season. I don't want anyone to be stuck not having anything to do when you could be really just enjoying your time and loving your hobby. So if you have the ability to do it now, go out, get models cleaned up, get the things that you need prepared, prime them, and be like that gamer squirrel, because you never know. It just might grow a miniature tree in your backyard too.